Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our next family orientation session. We'll be talking today about how your student can get involved on TU's campus. So we are lucky to be joined by three of our campus partners here at Towson University. And so we're excited to share with you a little bit about campus recreation, the Center for Student Diversity, and the Office of Student Activities. So to get started, my name is Catherine Canals. I'm the Assistant Director of New Student and Family Programs. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names, so I know some of you have joined us for family orientation before, and I'm happy to see you again. And I'm going to go ahead and let our students introduce themselves because they are the real Towson experts. And I'm also going to allow them to unmute themselves. There you go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Grace. I'm a student director for New Student Family Programs. I'm the student director of family engagement, and I'm a rising senior and nursing major.
Hi, everyone. My name is Denise. I'm an orientation leader for New Student and Family Programs. I am a rising junior, and I am majoring in biology.
So if you have any questions about the student experience, they are here to help you out. So first, I am going to pass the presentation over to Derek Long from our Campus Recreation Center.
Hello, everyone, and welcome, and thank you for allowing me to talk about campus recreation. Do I have the ability to share my screen? Let me see if I can. Okay.
And I made you a co-host, so you should be able to.
Okay, good. Okay, can we see that?
Looks good.
All right, so I'm here today to talk a little bit about Campus Rec for fall 2021. So, what is campus recreation? So Campus Recreation is a department within the Division of Student Affairs that is dedicated to Towson University's mission of creating a vibrant and healthy campus. Whether you want to get active or challenge yourself with an outdoor adventure, or just have some fun with your friends, Campus Recreation has something to offer you. Campus Rec is an inclusive place for all abilities and demographics. We want our members to feel comfortable and welcome in our space. Students automatically have access to Campus Recreation. All you have to do is download our free TU Campus Rec app, which you can get from the App Store or the Google Play Store. And that gives you access to all of our activities, including group fitness registration, alerts, guest pass purchasing, sports club information, our hours, and much, much more. It's a great app. So now I want to talk a little bit about our facility. So our fitness facility has over 22,000 feet of open fitness floor space, cardio, strength training, and functional training. With that includes 100 cardio training machines. Each of those training machines have a 20-inch monitor where you can log in with your net ID and password and get your favorites like Netflix, Spotify, or just take a ride through Napa Valley or something like that. We have tons of free weights and Olympic lifting platforms. All of our strength training machines are ADA accessible. We have dedicated personal training space. We have a Ninja Warrior style fitness area called the Jungle, which was named by the students. We also have a large sprint hill and fitness stairs inside of the fitness area. So for group fitness, we have 5 large group fitness studios. So we have a cycling studio with sound, lights, and video. It's pretty cool. The lights change as the music sort of pumps. So it's really awesome. It's very popular. We have a skill studio with retractable heavy bags. They slide along a rail system. We also have speed bags in there. You can rent equipment from our equipment room, such as gloves and things like that, jump ropes. We have a mind-body studio for yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, and bar classes. We have a group fitness studio, our largest for traditional aerobic instruction, such as Zumba and boot camp. And then we have a small instructional studio for class training and demonstrations. Typically, I think this year we're going to offer about 50 group fitness classes per week. Sometimes when we get much larger, we'll offer up to 80. So we're very busy with our group fitness, very popular. Intramural sports. So these are co-rec men and women's leagues. There's competitive and recreational leagues. There's things like tournaments and drop-in play. And for our intramural sports, teams are made up of TU students. So it's student on student play. You generally play about once a week. There aren't really any practices, and it's not really based off of skill level. So anyone of any skill level can play. And there's plenty of skilled people, but there's also non-skilled people. It's supposed to be for fun and recreation. In order to play intramurals, you're going to need to purchase a play pass, and you can do that from our website at recreation.towson.edu. It's $35 for the academic year, and that gives you unlimited intramural participation or $20 per semester. So if you want to go to a free event, you don't need a play pass, and there's quite a few of those as well. And you can get all those from our website. Sports clubs. So we have 30 sports clubs, and these are student government recognized clubs with over 850 participants. And generally, this is a little bit more competitive. So there's going to be practice 2 to 4 times a week. And many of our sports clubs travel. So you'll compete or you'll host home events. But they offer great opportunities to join a social club or learn a new skill. You get to compete against other universities. It's just a great way to be a part of something, as all activities are within Campus Rec. Outdoor adventures. So Outdoor Adventures offers educational, inspiring and exciting experiences. It often pushes you outside of your comfort zone, depending on what your comfort zone is. It helps you discover beauty and thrills in the natural world. So you're actually going to get out of facility for some of it. Also in our Outdoor Adventure Center, you can work on things like the challenge course, which is actually outside, or our climbing wall, which is a 30-foot climbing wall. You can take part of our climbing clinics where you can learn to belay. You can participate in gear rental where you can get things for your outdoor adventures, or you can rent climbing equipment yourself. We also have bike rental and trips and clinics. I think we're going to have about 6 trips this year. So if this is something you're interested in, hop on over to our Outdoor Adventure Center and sign up, or just get some more information. Great place. Aquatics. So Burdick Pool is a 25-yard, 8-lane pool. We have open swim 7 days a week, where you can do things like lap swim, recreational swim, and we also have some special programming. But we also offer kayaking clinics from our Outdoor Adventure Center. So there's just a lot going on there. It's also the pool that's used by our diving team and our swimming team. Open recreation. So open recreation is when we talk about our gyms. We have 3 large gyms where you can participate in open play basketball, a lot of our intramural sports, and sometimes sports clubs practice in there. And then we also have 2 large multi-activity courts in the facility where you can play things like indoor soccer, badminton, volleyball, things of that nature. So we just have a lot going on in the facility. So I'm going to give you a couple questions. I know we have a question and answer session at the end, but I just want to head off a couple of these that I typically get asked. So how do I use the equipment? That's very easy. You just talk to one of our fitness floor attendants inside the facility. They're all over the place. We have lots of staff that are here to help you get used to some of the stuff. How do you sign up for classes? Well, you're going to download that TU Campus Rec app that you need to get into our facility with. It's going to allow you to sign up for classes. You can head over to our recreation portal at recreation.towson.edu. Are there any special programs? Well, yes, there are. So during orientation week, we're going to have something called TU Later, where it's going to go on from 7 to 10 o'clock at night. You can stop by for our first opening. So like a pre-opening, you can see what we have to offer. We're going to have table sessions going on. And then also one of our signature events during the year is our Tiger Trot, which is a 5K race, which we host, where there'll be some prizes. And then what are the most popular and least popular gym times? So generally starting at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon till about 10 o'clock at night, sort of after your class is in, is when we start to get picked up. It's quite busy in there, but we're quite large. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot of space as well. And then finally, one of the biggest questions I always get asked is, are you hiring? And we are always hiring because we have one of the largest student staffs on campus. So generally we hire 2 times a year, right at the beginning of the semester when freshmen get here, and then we hire towards the end of the semester for the next semester. So we have 35 different positions, believe it or not, within the facility. So we have a lot to do and there's a lot to see. So I think that pretty much wraps it up, and I'll answer any questions at the end. Here's our hours in case you want to take a look. 6:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 10, Saturday, 9 to 6, and Sunday, 12 to 11. And that is it.
Thank you, Derek. I forgot to mention at the top of the presentation, if you do have chats or questions, you can put them in the chat. The chat function is typically found at the bottom of your Zoom window. There's a little speech bubble that says chat, and you can chat me with any questions you have, and I will ask them to our presenters. So I am going to now turn it over to Kiwana Perryman from the Center for Student Diversity. So Dr. Perryman, the floor is yours.
Good evening, folks. Good evening. So again, my name is Dr. Kiwana Perryman. I serve as the Associate Director in the Center for Student Diversity. Now, we share a physical space with student success programs, and I will argue that SSP and the CSD is Towson's best example of a great partnership. So you have two different departments sharing a physical space, ensuring the needs of historically excluded populations are met. So just for a brief moment, I want to share some of the programs and initiatives coming out of student success programs. So first we have SAGE. SAGE stands for Students Achieve Goals Through Education. It's a peer mentoring program that provides academic workshops, social activities, and career development to underserved students. Then you have CROP. College Readiness Outreach Program provides a series of college readiness workshops to ninth graders in the city of Baltimore that prepares them to matriculate throughout high school and then on to college. Gen 1 connects first generation students to those who share similar experiences in order to provide support and encouragement during their collegiate experience. And then you have Man to Man, which is a confidential peer support group for male identified students of color to develop a better understanding of themselves and others in the context of gender, race, culture, and social pressure. The Center for Student Diversity serves a multitude of populations. Of those, you have African American student development. That's for those who identify as part of the African diaspora. You have Asian Pacific Islander, Middle Eastern, and Desi American. You have our Latinx students, and then our undocumented tigers. That includes populations who are undocumented, DACA, Dreamer, refugees, and our immigrant students. And then our mature students are our non-traditional students who are typically over the age of 24. And then sexuality and gender diversity includes those with varying sexual and gender backgrounds. Now, the CSD opens and closes the academic year with opportunities for the entire community, faculty, staff, and students to fellowship over food, games, and prizes. So we start off with Set It Off in August, and we close out in April, May with Shut It Down. Each area has their respective leadership retreats and graduation celebrations. Two areas have identity-based monthly discussion spaces, that being Sankofa with African American student development and Cafecito and Chat with our Latinx student development. UGMA is a collective of organizations whose mission is to speak directly to the experiences of Black students on campus. Then you have Comunidad Gatherings, which is a space where our Latinx students, faculty, and staff gather to share space and experiences. As you can see, I will not explain what each and every program or initiative is, but I do want to highlight a few. And you can also find descriptions of each of those on our website. Our Rainbow Lounge is a physical space in our office for those in the LGBTQ+ community to gather and fellowship. We have queer peers who serve as mentors and support for students who are new in Q, students who are queer and questioning, or folks that are out and loud about it. We also have programming that addresses sexual violence prevention and education, that being Take Back the Night, Vagina Monologues, and we devote a week to programming about our menstrual health and making conversations about menstrual health not taboo. And then with our Apamita community, it's a learning community that lasts 4 to 6 weeks. Again, a space and opportunity for those in that community to fellowship, to learn, to challenge, and support one another. And so if you want to be a community with us, I encourage you to send us an email, give us a call, and we will gladly kind of show you around and share more of how we could help you and your students find community here on campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Perryman. And I am getting some questions in the chat. Keep them rolling. And we are going to hear next from Corey Bailey from Student Activities.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Catherine, for giving me the ability to kind of just share some information with everyone within the space. So Corey Bailey, again, I represent the Office of Student Activities. Ultimately, our goal is to help students get connected to different elements. And we're not the only ones that do that. So Dr. Perriman, Derek Long, other people, even, just new student family programs. There are so many different departments that are focused on helping students really just kind of find their way. And they're, when I say find their way, it's a pathway. It just starts with just trying to define kind of what your interests are. And so for us, it's really about providing the information and then also providing the event and programmatic opportunities to do that. So for us, it really starts with, and this is something that I've shared with in the past, in terms of kind of where we are in terms of student organizations. So for example, when I'm talking to a student, whether they're incoming student or a prospective student or however they define, I always ask questions around like, what are your academic interests? Because ultimately there's a student organization that they can get involved with. Now that might not be their starting point, but it's at least an entryway if they choose to go in that route, to kind of get an idea of what it is that they can get involved with and things like that. So what you may see on the screen is involved at TU. All students that have TU credentials can get into this pathway and they can search via these different interest areas, right? So I'm not going to go through all that, but it's a really good point of contact as it relates to what they want to do. And then from there, they can explore more interest. So student organizations is not the only thing that they can get involved with, but it's sometimes helpful because it can help them get in touch with a community of people that have common interests. It could be an opportunity for them to maybe establish a new student organization on campus and develop their leadership potential in that regard. Or they could also be a part of an of course, take on leadership role. There are so many different ways that student organizations really make sense. So, just thinking about, kind of where they fall within their existence within the student involvement experience, this is definitely one way to do that. Outside of that, we do a number of different programs that involve with engagement, inclusion, community collaboration. Those are our founding values as an organization within the existence of the Towson University environment. And so, obviously it starts with engagement, like I started by saying, getting students involved and thinking about different things. But then it's about development of community and understanding other people and collaborating with others. So there's so many different ways that our office can assist with developing the skill sets that are necessary for future involvement and success beyond the university. So for us, it's really just about getting our students exposed to these different resources and then taking it from there. So Involved at TU is definitely a great resource for everyone to think about. We also provide late night weekend programming. We assist with the Welcome to TU programming that Catherine and New Student Family Programs are a part of. So there are so many different places that we find ourselves as a department. So, for us, it's really just about how do we connect students to what's out there? And then we take it from there. So we're in University Union 217 at this point in time. That may change or will change because of the construction with the union. But at the end of the day, you can find us online, Instagram, all that good stuff. TU event calendar is a great way for folks to know what's coming up or what is happening within a given week. So continue to check in, and depending on who you are on this call or in this space, if you're representing a student that's moving into the university, get them thinking about where can you find out information about involvement, because that's important. And there's a lot of data out that shows that getting more involved, and also thinking about employment, all those things really do matter in terms of their success. So student activities, in addition to everyone else that's in this space, are here to help. So thank you, Catherine, for the opportunity.
Thanks, Corey. I have been, like I said, getting questions in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading those out to our presenters, but feel free to keep the questions coming and we're happy to help you out. So the questions I have are for Derek. Can you talk about the COVID restrictions that might still be in place for Burdick?
Sure. So we are following the university's guidelines when it comes to COVID restrictions. So everyone that is part of the TU community that comes to the university on a regular basis is required to get their COVID-19 vaccine or to get a waiver. And so a lot of these questions stem around masks. We are not requiring masks, but feel free to wear them. We're still offering a few things like recovery zones if you choose to wear your mask. We certainly want to appreciate everyone else's space and decision to do that. So we're sort of following what the CDC and the university, Towson University's guidelines are on COVID restrictions. But we also are keeping a lot of our cleaning, hourly cleaning protocols in place, as well as our shields and touchless entry into the facility and things of that nature to make sure that we are safe. So, but we've always done that. We're a very clean place. So.
And one more for you. For students who might be interested in soccer, what would their options be?
So it depends on what level of competitiveness they want to try to achieve. So there certainly are intramural soccer clubs, and then there are sports clubs, soccer clubs. So it really depends on how much time you want to dedicate to soccer. But I would say that you're probably going to get the best information by going to towson.edu/campusrec and looking up either intramurals or sports clubs, and then they can connect you with an officer where you could probably get some more specific information about what's required, or you could just sort of join one of the leagues. And I think if you come to TU later, there'll probably be some sports club representatives there as well to be able to answer some specific questions. So you could always also come into the facility and we could point you towards the sports club's office and you could ask some questions. And that would be for the student. I suppose you could come in as well if you're a parent that's asking the question, but we'd be happy to answer any of these questions. But a lot of that can be found from our website. So.
Excellent, thank you. And that's a great point as well. All of these offices will be represented at our Welcome to TU and introductory programming for your students. So make sure your student is participating in all of the mandatory and hopefully also the optional events during Welcome to TU after they move in. That's a great way for them to connect with all of these offices. So while we wait for any other questions that might come in, I always like to ask Grace and Denise if they have experiences in getting involved and what they might recommend for your students.
I would say in general, I would recommend getting involved in as much as possible in anything. With campus rec, I love going to the gym. I have ever since freshman year. I don't know how I did it, but one of my favorite things freshman year was Friday mornings, 6:30 a.m. going to the cycling class. That was always really fun. Looking back, maybe I'll get to that point again, but right now I just look back and think I was probably crazy. But I really love going to all of like the group fitness classes, like Zumba, Pilates, cycling, all of those things. And that's also a great way to meet people because I've found that like if you always go like the same day, the same time, sometimes there's other people who will always go to that class. So then like you get to know those people and you also get to know the instructors, which is really cool. But yeah, that's what I would say. I would just say like get involved as much as possible. Definitely encourage your students to get involved as much as possible, especially or as early on as possible when we have Welcome to TU and the involvement fair and everything. That's a great way to be able to meet all of the clubs and organizations on campus. I would say that's how I've met pretty much all of my friends on campus is going to the involvement fairs and getting involved. I would say the best advice to give your student is the advice that my mom gave me my first weekend of college. When I was going to the involvement fair, she told me like, Grace, if there's anything you're even remotely interested in getting involved in, sign up for it. Because even if later on you decide, oh, I don't want to be in that club, then like you'll just get the emails, whatever. But if you don't sign up now, like you might not get the information about it later on. So I remember I was a very scared freshman at the involvement fair and I saw one club and I was like, oh, I should go sign up for it. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to, just because I was like so overwhelmed and nervous. And then I was like, no, my mom told me if there's anything I'm remotely interested in, I should sign up for it. So I signed up and then got the emails for the club and then wasn't going to go to the first club meeting. And then it was my mom again who convinced me to go to the first club meeting. And I've been in that club ever since my first week of college. I've met my absolute best friends in it. And one of those friends that I met is now my roommate. So I would say my best advice that you could give your students is what my mom gave me. And that's anything they're remotely interested in getting involved in, at least try it out. If you go and you don't like it, you don't have to stay in the club, but you never know, you could meet your best friends.
Thank you. Denise, anything to add?
You said everything I was thinking of right now. I was gonna talk about the involvement fair, but you got a lot of say in that. But that's also how I like got involved in the organizations and clubs that I'm currently involved in. I went to the involvement fair, saw a whole bunch of clubs there, and then like for example, the ADC, which is African Diaspora Club. It's a club where people from different African countries come together and talk about their religion, culture, food, all that stuff. And it was just kind of a way for me to like relate to them in a way. And yeah, that's just an example of how I found out of some of the clubs. And I really encourage your student to try and, you know, go into the involvement fair. And that's where you can get a ton of, like, find a ton of new friends and people that you can like connect with. And also the Involved at TU website to like see all the different organizations that Towson provides. And yeah, it's just put yourself out there. And it's not like high school where like you're kind of limited to what you can do. When you're here in Towson, you have all the opportunities handed to you. So it's really good to just take advantage of them.
Excellent. Thank you, Denise. So I'm not seeing any additional questions, but I would like to invite any of our presenters, if there are final thoughts you want to leave our families with, now would be the time. Yeah, go ahead, Corey.
Thank you very much, Catherine. So for me, it's about pathways. You know, everyone, comes into the institution at different points. whether you are a freshman, transfer, or an adult learner, whatever the case may be. Got to figure out, what makes sense for you. And, when I talk about, student organizations, and it's been brought up before, and so I appreciate some of the support that others have provided in that regard. It's really about just figuring out like what makes sense for you as an individual. And so you just gotta kind of figure things out, and then kind of move and maneuver throughout your time with us, whether it be 4 years, 2 years, 5 years, or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, there's an investment that you're making when it comes to being a part of this institution. And the investment is your time more than anything else. Yes, there's a financial investment, but that's not why we're here. The investment though is like, how are you going to utilize the experience? And so take advantage of everything that's available to you. Campus Rec provides a great deal of opportunities in terms of wellness and health and stuff like that. Center for Student Diversity provides a great deal of information as it relates to identity development and all those kind of things that come with that. We provide as student activities a great deal of information as it relates to involvement and connections and social programming. So, you just got to figure out what makes sense for you. So we just hope that at the end of the day, that you take advantage of everything available to you. So, we're thankful for the opportunity. So thank you, Catherine, and others from New Student Family Programs for providing us a space, because it's really important for everyone to understand what it means to be part of the Towson community. So thank you.
Thank you.
I would also like to offer, and I echo Corey's sentiments. Encourage your students to find their fit, to find their community. Their future employers are not going to be as concerned about whether they received an A or C plus in Psychology 100. They want to know that you are a well-rounded individual, that you're a team player, that you can communicate both verbally and in written form. And you gain those skills by joining intramural sports clubs, by joining honorary organizations and student clubs, by becoming RAs and orientation leaders. That's where you pick up those skills and you learn that skill set that can translate into your future employment. And so we want to make sure that wherever you find your fit, that you find it. We don't want our students to be stuck inside their residence halls for the next 4, 5, or 6 years. So we will do our part in making sure that the opportunities are available. And we ask that you all do your part in encouraging your students to go outside and eat. Find someone to sit with, find someone to study with, because that's where the learning and the growth is actually going to take place. And it's not to diminish the learning and growth that takes place inside the classroom, but I want to emphasize the co-curricular experiences that our offices all contribute to.
Excellent. Derek, anything you want to add?
I don't think I could follow that. I mean, I think that was said perfectly. The only thing I could add is that we're just all here to help. Every person that works at Towson and all the students, we're also involved. We're also passionate about what we do, and it's all to support the students. That's really all we want them to do, is just to find find what they're passionate about and follow that, so that they get that secondary education. And then that's what we're offering. So we're all here to help. So I think that if they go knowing that every person that they see at Towson is here to help them, then they're going to have a great experience and find something better and hopefully change for the better. So thank you for allowing me this opportunity, and all of us the opportunity to present today.
Thank you. I think that is a great way to lead into our wrap up. We really are all here for you, and we do have some more opportunities through orientation for you to learn more about TU. So we do have one more evening session tomorrow at 5 p.m. And then we have a comprehensive session. Tomorrow's session will be about campus safety. Then we have a comprehensive session on Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. to cover a wide variety of topics. So if you haven't had the chance to join us for a longer session, we do have one more available, as well as that campus safety presentation with our Towson University Police Department. All of these sessions, as well as the recordings, can be found at towson.edu/families. And that's where you can find links to all of the family-centered resources as well. So we hope you continue to join us for these presentations, continue to ask us questions, because we are all here for you. So with that, I want to thank the presenters and just say have a good night and go Tigers.